welcome back to The Lovely Vet. I'm Dr. Jenna Shivers and this is Miss Mindy Moo. Welcome back to our final episode of our cottage and camping series. This episode is about packing for your dog. So we're going to go over what to pack, how to pack, and hopefully that your dog will carry their pack with them depending on their size. Once again, we put the timestamps in our video so you can scroll through to whatever section you like. And feel free to add whatever you think extra in your packs. One thing I would suggest is looking up the closest vet clinic and emergency services, veterinary emergency services closest to you, wherever you're going to be staying, as well as remembering to give your monthly oral prevention for fleas, ticks, heartworm, intestinal parasites before you leave for your trip as well. So let's get right into it and get started. So I've just put Mindy Moo's life jacket on here. So you want to make sure that it's not too tight, but that it's fairly snug, that you have the handles on the top, and you have the reflectors. And you want to make sure around the neck that that's also fairly snug, but that you can still fit a hand in and it's pretty comfortable for them. A lot of dogs feel like they're a little bit uncomfortable because they are a little bit restraining. However, having them on when the boat is in motion is really important. Just being aware that this can add insulation to your dog as well. So if it's really hot and humid out, it might be a good idea to leave your dog at home rather than taking them on the boat, because heat stroke could be a concern as well. So just being cautious with that. Having a little folding travel water bowl is an awesome thing to have when you're camping or cottaging, or even just hiking out on the trail. We want our dogs to be able to have a drink. These are super flat, easy, convenient. All you have to do is undo the plastic like a Ziploc, open it up, and fill with your clean water for your pack. This one may seem a little bit obvious, but having a leash with you is really handy. Having a carabiner at the end of your leash is handy too. You can hook it to things a little bit easier. And if you're out doing kind of outback camping or anything like that, sometimes getting a long lunge leash rather than a short one, so that you can hook them at your campsite for those times of day that, you know, potentially there's wild animals out and about. Dawn and dusk are the most common times we see our nocturnal animals moving around, to avoid those animal encounters. Most of our animals that our dogs get into scuffles with, it's our dogs doing. Animals like skunks, porcupines, even snakes, they don't come up and attack our animals on their own. They are instigated by the dog and they're using their defensive tactics. So keep that in mind and keep your dog leashed up if you can during those high-risk times. It's always really important to travel with a towel when you have your dog. Towels can be useful, obviously, for the obvious reasons, drying them off, wiping their feet, but they're also really handy if you do have a dog that's rolled in something pretty nasty. You can put it around them to help contain the smell, and you can try to avoid it from getting on all of your other stuff. So always having a like a light, small, handy travel towel is always good to have in your pack. All right, the next item for our dog pack is tick twisters. So tick twisters come in 2 different sizes in a 2-pack, and they're used to easily remove ticks from your dog. So taking them with you camping is a great idea. They allow you to get the tick out whole without popping the head off in one simple motion, basically hooking it on and twisting, and the tick will pop right out. So it comes in 2 sizes dependent on how big your tick is, and they are a fantastic tool. Much easier to get the tick out whole than a pair of tweezers. Some Benadryl, or diphenhydramine is the pharmaceutical drug name. having Benadryl handy and talking to your regular vet about a dose of Benadryl that you can use in case your dog does have an allergic reaction while you're out. Things like mosquito bites, black fly bites that can be quite itchy. Can use a dose of Benadryl. Just being cautious that it can make them a little bit sleepy. But Benadryl is one of those good things to have on hand when you're out and about in the woods and a bit far away from being able to get into the vet clinic. You don't need to bring a full bottle with you, but having a Skunk specific shampoo handy with you, or having a Degreaser shampoo if they do end up rolling in something nasty, you have that in your back pocket, literally. If your dog is in and around a lake and going to be swimming, I would advise bringing some ear cleaner with you. So flushing their ears out once a day at the end of the day when they're finished swimming will help to avoid ear infections going forward. Having a little first aid kit for your dog is always a good idea. Have it all together in case you need it. You may not need it at all. I always include a bottle of a chlorohexidine like soap or wash to help to, if there is a wound, that you can just sanitize it. We don't want to use something like peroxide on a wound because it can actually delay healing. So just being cautious with that. Having some vet wrap in there, some gauze squares, and then a non-adherent dressing. So if you are putting something onto a wound to get them addressed at a vet clinic, you don't want to use like a gauze square because it will stick to the wound. You want to use a non-adherent dressing. And then there's a pair of gloves in there as well. Gloves are good for wounds, but they're also good if your dog gets sprayed by a skunk or you have to wash some nasty stuff off them to protect yourself against that as well. The other thing is just a few safety things. So something like a light up collar that has an LED light on it is helpful for you to find your animal. A bear bell is important to have to scare away wildlife and let them know that you're there. And then like a reflector type thing, if you do need to find them at night with a flashlight, it's good to have a reflector on them as well. Remembering to pack your dog's regular food and medication is really important as well. So what I usually like to do is divide them up into individual meals. So you just take out a bag and you can just give it to them in individual doses. I usually pack them in compostable poop bags so that when I'm done feeding, I have extra poop bags that I can use to clean up poop wherever I am. And those can go into the outhouse type facilities that are composting toilets. So that's always a handy thing. And remember to bring your pet's regular medication if they are on a daily, weekly, monthly medication. Not sure we can stress this enough, but treats are an essential part of training and making every experience enjoyable for your dog. Making sure you have these treats so your dog can get used to the boat. If you're going on a boat or feel more comfortable in their environment. The other type of treat I would suggest having is a soft treat that you can form a pill around if you need to actually give them a Benadryl pill or other medication that you may need on your trip. Make sure you have a handy little dog backpack so your dog can carry their own supplies, their own food, and it makes it a little bit easier and lighter for you. And again, thanks so much for tuning in. If you want to check out our Instagram page for daily tips and tricks, our Instagram page is @thelovelyvet, and we'll see you there. Thanks, take care.